Okay, so
Energy today, huh? After food, after some breakfast. Okay, don't shake too much, don't shake too much. Remember the doctor said no. Ollie, calm. Not too much exercise. Remember doctor said so.
hey guys, my name is Sherry. Welcome to my channel. I have recently started reading this book. As a few of you already know, this is a book by Mark Manson and it's called The Subtle Art of Not Giving a Fuck. And I started reading this book because I've been quite stressed lately in my life with some family issues, and then also with my dog going into surgery last minute, open chest surgery, so that was really stressful. So in the last month or so, I haven't really been myself, and I've also not been sleeping very well, overthinking things, and just feeling so anxious, and I want to get back that chill Sherry. So I started reading this book because a friend recommended it to me, and I've quite enjoyed it. I started reading, actually I didn't read the physical book. I'm listening to the audio version of it, the audiobook version. I'm not quite done with the book just yet. However, what I would do is stop at every few chapters. I would stop and really think about the things that Mark talked about in his book. I think it's quite interesting. I highly recommend this book. It's a good read. I've stopped for quite some time after listening to chapter 7 because it really got me thinking about my thought processes and how I live my life and how I want to live my life. So, oh, I'm sorry. I scared my dog. Somehow, between childhood and adulthood, we begin to pick up a lot of life-crippling fears. It's strange because sometimes these fears are, most of the time actually, these fears are not actually life-crippling. So why do we let it stop us from living our lives to the fullest? Now, hindsight is 2020, so of course I can sit here today and look back in my past, in my history, in my life, and I can tell you that I could have made better choices in my life, and maybe because of my fears, it stopped me from living the life that I really wanted to. I'm not saying I regret anything in my life. However, there's so many of the fears I've written down in my book. Some of the fears I've had, or I still have actually, and I think I want to, in the next little while, I want to learn how to unlearn these fears. So I'll share some of my fears with you. Number 1. I have always had such a strong fear of disappointing my parents. I'm sure this is a fear for a lot of people out there, and I don't even know why I have this fear, because first of all, I love my parents, and my parents love me very much as well. There isn't any type of abuse or anything like that. It's nothing like that. But I do want to make them happy, and I want them to feel proud of their daughter. But somehow this has become a fear of mine where I was afraid to disappoint them. Why do I need to feel that way? Because whatever decisions I make in my life, whatever I do in my life, my parents are still going to love me unconditionally. And they have shown me that over and over again throughout my entire life, which makes me feel like I really did not need to feel like I would disappoint them. I really don't need to fear so much that my parents will be disappointed in me. I really don't. Now, my next fear, which is definitely a fear of many of my friends, my family, strangers out there, I'm sure all of you that's watching my channel as well probably have this fear too, which is the fear of not making enough money to survive in this world. I live in Vancouver, and it definitely is one of the most expensive cities that you could be living in. It didn't start off this way when I first moved here as a kid, but it somehow evolved into this very, very high cost of living city where rent is high, mortgages are high. To buy a property is not easy. To have a good social life where you can go out and eat and watch a movie and all these things, this costs so much money. So I think it's a fear that quite a lot of people have. But I really don't think that I should I should let this fear take over too much, because then I stop living life. I would only focus on work. For so many years in my life, I chose work over fun. I chose work over friends. I chose work over traveling. I chose work over parties and gatherings. Of course, now that we live in this world where gatherings are no longer permitted, it definitely makes me feel like I've missed out on a lot in my past because I chose work over all these other fun things I get to do. I think this next fear is probably something that a lot of girls will share with me, is the fear of not looking pretty enough. I think our culture, our society is very much based on judging people by the way they look, how they present themselves, and for a woman to not wear makeup, sometimes it's frowned upon, sometimes it's considered as rude and not professional enough. And I am still slowly beginning to realize that's a very irrational fear. So in the last year or 2 years, I've been really trying to reduce my usage of makeup, and also when I dress, I choose more for comfort than I do for looks. And surprisingly, this has actually been something that many of my friends brought up with me, is that they say to me, "Hey Sherry, I feel like you look better and younger and happier. What's changed?" And when I tell them it's me not
Searching
wearing...
Apple Music for "You Look Better and Younger and Happier, What's Changed?"
Oh God. Siri wanted to look up a book for me. When I tell them that it's actually because I stopped wearing makeup, I stopped wearing 4-inch heels, I wear more hiking boots and rain boots than I do fancy shoes and pencil skirts, it's been quite life-changing for me. It took a little bit of time to get used to, of course, because I was very afraid how people would see me when I don't have makeup on. And for women at least, one of those things that come with wearing makeup is that you want to look as perfect as you can in front of people. It was this vicious cycle of wearing makeup and then ruining your skin and then getting acne or pimples and then feeling like you need to cover that up with makeup, and it was just like this vicious cycle over and over and over again. And I started to develop this fear of letting people see that overnight I had grown a zit on my forehead or on my cheek or something like that. Thinking that if I show people these things, that I grow things on my face and my skin isn't perfect, that I was going to somehow get judged and people won't like me. That's so ridiculous. I don't look at people and think that, oh, they've got a zit on their forehead, maybe I shouldn't like them. I don't think that way, so why would I expect that other people think that way of me? It's just silly. I also have this huge fear of being judged by people, judged by my friends, my family, and worse, by strangers. And I think that's a problem that many people share. I don't even know why this is such a huge issue, because I would be lying if I say I don't judge people, but I do try my very best not to. And it's definitely not one of those things that is the first thing that pop into my mind when I see a stranger walk by me on the street. I'm not quick to judge. I don't look at them and wonder if they're a bad person just because of the way they look. So I don't know why I let that fear consume me so much in my life. Of course, I have a lot more fears than what I've listed so far, but I think this final fear that I'm going to mention is something that has been crippling for me, and I am trying to overcome this by trying new things in my life, including having this YouTube channel and putting out vlogs out there so that I practice talking to the camera, practice showing more real sides of my life. And this is all because I'm trying to overcome this big fear of mine, which is failure. I am very scared about failing, because in my mind, for some reason, failing is so unacceptable in our society. I feel like I'm trying to hide my failures. We probably, all of us, hide them. We all hide them. We all hide the fact that we get scrapes and bruises as we're trying to stand up on our own 2 feet. Somehow we have this delusion that someone successful never fails. But that's so not true, because success is built on years of failure. Without failure, we don't learn. Without mistakes, we don't learn. And if we don't learn, how are we going to know how to be successful? I really need to remind myself that if I don't make mistakes, I don't learn. Just same thing with success. I won't be able to be successful unless I've learned to fail a few times, or fail a lot. What are some of your fears?
If you like my videos, enjoy the content, and want to see more, don't forget to subscribe.